Blast me to Sifos. It's time for the Mad Merlin's Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. Issue 37, Part 1, Lore and Build Guide. Hello and welcome back to another episode in the Mad Merlin's Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. So this is my coverage of the Warhammer 40,000 partworks by Hachette in partnership with Games Workshop. So, issue 37, I don't know why I said 47 earlier, but issue 37 then, we have a set of pipes for our terrain features. So this is the older set, like I said in my unboxing. Still pretty good detail, cover them in a minute. We have a fold-out section to cover, and we also have the rest of the contents of issue 37. So we've got the Tau Empire, we build and paint our new terrain features, and we got the fold out for the Sifos Warzone, and 4 miniatures. So let's have a closer look over those contents on the vertical camera. So here is the pipeline, and they are pretty good detailed models. They're some of the most common used pieces of terrain that Games Workshop like to put out in sets. I believe they are in one of the Kill Team boxes recently, but I do like them. They are really good and really versatile. You can use them in a variety of ways, including using them as supports for the various walkway kits that Games Workshop produce, as these are about the same height as the leg support struts. We have a set of 6 feet for the pipes to be rested on for you when they are used, obviously, as pipes. You could alternatively glue these on to flatter parts of buildings and have the pipes running vertical, which is pretty cool. But we got loads of detail. You got a couple of smaller pieces of pipe here which go onto these offshoot areas. We've got damaged pipe which can go onto the ends, or I like to actually put mine onto some of the buildings that you can get to show where the pipeline used to run into the building and obviously caused both the pipe and the ruins itself to become ruined. But we've got a nice little control panel here. We've got some fuel canisters, nice little screen, switches, dials, etc. And then we got a couple of fuel cell batteries, plasma batteries, to charge the pipe network. As I mentioned in my unboxing, you could mess around and try and get some of these pipes to go in different configurations of each other. I'm going to try myself when I come to building these. But it'd be nice to see if we can get some alternate pieces going together. I think I did build one set different to the other on my Conquest version of these. I will have to try and dig out my terrain box and find out. Let's move on then to the magazine. Okay, here we go. We're going to go into issue 37. So we've got our fold out to cover, and we've got quite a lot of information to cover as well for the rest of the magazine. So we got our usual battle record for our terrain, just to say what it is and what it does. We got faction information about the Tau Empire, more Forge World information, this time Riser and Metallica. Then we got our fold out, the War of Ramesses, the Sifos sector, so the Sifos moon that we are currently fighting over. Then we have our build and paint guide for the plasma conduits, more core rules for the shooting phase. We also start the core rules for the charge phase, and we have cracking the Aegis and latest mission for our scout pack. So plasma conduits powering the war effort. From roaring foundries to colossal gun batteries and shield generators, Imperial facilities require vast amounts of power to function. Plasma conduits crisscross Sifos' surface, carrying superheated energy to power the Imperial war machine. So they are basically, like I said earlier, they're modular construction. You build them in various different ways. You've got the exposed plasma coils, damaged pipes from either a plasma leak or perhaps a shelling from enemy forces. Then you've got the foundry fusion batteries, which are pretty cool. I like the fact you can pull them in and out, which helps for thematic missions, really. On the back, we've got our usual sort of thing. So you get a binaric designation. I'll be doing what I usually do, rolling a d6, and odds are 1, evens are 0, and I'll type in what I get in the roll. Then we've got a d6 chart to show where our fuel is going to. So it's either a fusion forge, galvanic power plant, ammunition foundry, orbital weapons battery, starport cranes, or the teleportarium array. So yeah. Moving on to our first bit of lore, we've got the Tau Empire. So, an upstart race who have swiftly risen from savagery to establish a star-spanning empire. The Tau race now possess lethal technology and continually encroach upon the Emperor's realm. So this is a inquisitorial report into the upstart Tau Empire. The Tau are a rather unique race in that they have no presence within the warp, so psychers can't really detect them, etc., and demons likewise can't detect them, but it doesn't stop the demons from occasionally finding the Tau and getting in battle. So we've got the theory of the greater good that the Tau are trying to work towards. Tau technology is really advanced. They got the stealth suit type, not the stealth suit, but the battle suits, and they got various different types of aircraft, hovercraft, etc. The Ethereals, who are the leading rulers of the Tau castes, and then the alien auxiliaries. So the Tau, unlike a lot of the other races, actually encompass a variety of different races. So you've got the Kroot here, you've also got the Vespid Stingwings, and there are a few others which haven't yet come to light in the rules side of things, but have been in the lore for a while. I do have a theory that the Tau are secretly the Emperor's secret weapon for facing chaos, but that's just my own personal little headcanon. But as the Imperium hates all Xenos, of course, these are exterminatus material, basically. So we have Metallica moving on for our Forge Worlds. So the gleaming giant of the Ultima Segmentum. Metallica is a world sheathed entirely in adamantine, iron, and steel. Its surface is covered with industrial clusters and forge shrines, split by landscapes of industrial waste. It is an unsleeping bastion of war production, whose polluted skies ring to the endless clamour of manufacturing. Excuse me. As I mentioned before, I think Metallica is probably one of my favourite Forge Worlds. I like the cream robes and the grey, dark grey under fatigues as well. I also just do like the name, the Metallica name. So the Ultima Segmentum, they're obviously very connected to the Ultramarines. And we have the Legio Metallica Titan Legions, also known as the Iron Skulls. Then we have Riser, the Furnace of Shackled Stars. So Forge World Riser is the cradle from which many plasma-based weapon technologies have sprung. Yet for all its magnificence and tech heritage, Riser is a world caught amidst a storm of Xenos foes. So while I don't all the while like the Riser lore and such for the things, I do really like their colour scheme. Orange is an interesting colour to paint, and the orange and grey work really well together. I think if I did probably do my own spin on things, I might eventually do a Riser small detachment sometime. But I think Metallica is probably the way I'm going to go. So before we move on to our build guide, let's take a look at our new foldout. So this is continuing the foldout we got in issue 1. It encompasses the whole war and more specifically, the theatre of war that we are currently playing through, the Moon of Sifos. So we can expect another one of these later on in the 40 to 60 era, where we will discover more about the battles that the sisters are fighting against the Necrons. So the Necron assault on Sifos excuse me, my tongue is not working today, has met with stern Imperial resistance. Yet the Xenos invaders are seemingly without number and continue to descend upon the beleaguered world. So we've got a nice shot here of Necrons emerging from their monoliths. And so we got a coverage of the Zarak Dynasty side of things. We've got the Canoptic constructs and the enemies from the sky, the Tomb Blades. On the inside, we've got the planetary map with all the different areas that we have been fighting over. And on either side of that, we've got a little bit more in-depth detail about the different war zones. So let's just read this little blurb up here. So, Warzone Sifos. The Fortress Moon Sifos has protected the Ramesses system for thousands of years. Its forges and foundries provide weaponry and ammunition for the Astra Militarum regiments throughout the Nephilim sector. In the wake of the Necron invasion, Imperial forces struggle to hold back the Xenos legions and maintain their grip on key locations. And on the back, we've got a little bit about the different disciples of the Machine God. So with the Ultramarines engaged in a battle on multiple fronts, it falls to the Adeptus Mechanicus to form the main defensive line on Sifos. Overseen by the Tech Priests, the Augmetic Warriors of Mars hold the line. So it just goes into a little bit of detail about all the different units that we have and their effects in the battle against Necrons. Alright, let's bring back in and continue through your magazine. So, how to build our plasma conduits. So they are pretty easy. You just put the two halves of the pipe together. Then we have the feet that glue onto the bottom of each pipe section. And then we've got all our smaller little bits, our different curved pipes. Downward pipe here for putting onto one end. We've got a small section, a damaged section. And we show how the pipes build up together. So they do want you to build the pipes in a specific way here and glue them together to form a specific network, which will match up to what we've got on our printed game board. Just says not to glue in these. You can leave them loose. They will hold in pretty tightly. As I said, I've built up two sets of this lot already, so they do fit in really nicely and are perfect for thematic missions where you have to like maybe pick up the plasma battery on one part of the battlefield, run it back to here to activate it and bring the planetary system online or something. It's pretty good. Let's take a quick look then at the paint guide, as again I won't be painting these on camera. It is a rather very simple paint guide. I do wish they'd done the flat of the pipes red to match up with the reactors, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I do like they've painted the batteries in more than one colour. The previous batteries they literally just left them silver and painted the plasma effect, and that was it. The Conquest paint guide for these was really lackluster, I think. It was some of the earlier terrain they did in the series. I think they could have really done a lot more with the paints they supplied you with. But this is a vast improvement. So we're picking out some of the thinner pipes and cables in corn red and giving the pipes an overall wash with non-oil. Picking out a lot of the ribbed pipes, damaged sections of the plasma conduits, and some of the control icons with Retributor armor, which is nice. It gives a little bit of extra pop to the color scheme. Then picking out again yet more pipes, nameplates, etc. with Runelord brass and some grates there as well. Then picking out Rakov flesh on the skulls in the plasma battery section, and also any buttons and lenses with Mephiston red, before giving all those areas a coat of Agrax Earthshade. Might be a good idea to put a second coat on the inside of the vents just to give it a little bit more depth. As I'd say about shading flat surfaces, make sure you don't have too much on your brush. So brush areas, larger areas first, and use whatever's left on your brush just to touch up the flat areas. But just take your time working around all the details you've painted, and you will have your finished pipes. So like I said, these do look a whole lot better than the Conquest ones. I'll definitely paint at least one set up like this. I might paint the other set a little bit different and put the flat red, the red on the flatter, larger panels of pipes, just to match up to the reactor we've built and painted in previous issue. So that's all for this issue. That was issue 37. Wow. That was a really big and in-depth issue. And we got some new scenery to go and build. So I would like to thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe if you don't already do so. Anything you do, it will help the channel out. There's also the links in the description down below for my social medias, buy me a coffee page and my affiliate link for Curton Games. Again, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for more mad content. Goodbye.